The kitchen smelled faintly of lemon peel and stale coffee, a scent that now defined the last 6 months of my life. My coffee mug, the one I'd chosen on our first date from a roadside antique shop, sat empty on the counter. It was strange how a house could feel more empty after you finally removed a person from it. I was just about to carry the last box of his things out to the curb when my phone buzzed on the cool marble countertop. I saw Adam's name and my stomach dropped. My brother, my twin, a guy who never called after dark unless something was seriously wrong. I answered on the second ring, my voice tight. "Hey Adam, you're supposed to be in Malibu for the party." Before I dive into my story, I'd really appreciate it if you could let me know where you're watching from in the comments, and if you'd consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean the world to me and help me keep sharing more stories like this. Thank you so much for being here. The kitchen smelled faintly of lemon peel and stale coffee, a scent that now defined the last 6 months of Emma's life. My coffee mug, the one I'd chosen on our first date from a roadside antique shop, sat empty on the counter. It was strange how a house could feel more empty after you finally removed a person from it. I was just about to carry the last box of his things out to the curb when my phone buzzed on the cool marble countertop. I saw Adam's name and my stomach dropped. My twin brother, my confidant, a guy who never called after dark unless something was seriously wrong. I answered on the second ring, my voice tight. "Hey, Adam, you're supposed to be in Malibu for the party." He didn't answer right away, just a heavy silence. "This isn't about that," he said, his voice low and serious. "Where's Jason?" That question hit me like a physical blow. A cold dread seeped into my bones, a feeling I hadn't felt since the day I found those text messages. "He's in a hotel," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "He's been staying there since the divorce." I heard Adam's sigh on the other end. A long, tired sound, that's what I thought. He said, "But he's here, in Vegas. He just checked in at my club, the same one we're a part of." My blood ran cold. Jason, a man who swore he was committed to our marriage and our future, was in Vegas. But why? I felt a sudden jolt, a flash of memory, a crumpled hotel receipt in his wallet, a late-night phone call he quickly hung up. My mind raced, trying to put the pieces together. "Who's he with?" I asked, my voice flat. "Someone named Amber," Adam said. The name was foreign, but the feeling was all too familiar. My heart ached, not from anger, but from a profound sadness. All those years, all those promises, all for nothing. Adam went on, "She's not just a friend. She's wearing the same ring he promised you last year. The one he said was too expensive." My mind went blank. I couldn't process the information. The world around me felt hazy, unreal. The coffee mug on the counter, the empty boxes, the silence in the house, it all felt like a movie. And I was just a passive observer. Adam's voice brought me back to reality. Are you there?" I took a deep breath, fighting back the tears that threatened to spill. "I'm here," I said, my voice steady now. "What do you want me to do?" He paused, and I knew he was waiting for me to break down, to yell, to scream. But I was done with that. I was done with the drama. "I've got proof," Adam said. "I have camera footage, receipts, timestamps. I can send them to you." I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. The thought of seeing him with her was unbearable. "No," I said, my voice firm. "Not yet." I didn't want to see the proof. I just wanted to feel the silence. "What's the move?" Then Adam asked, "What do you want me to do?" I looked at the coffee mug again, the one that once held so much promise. "Let him spend," I said. "Let him think he's untouchable." I wanted him to dig his own grave, with every single receipt. I wanted to watch him fall, slowly and painfully. "I want everything," I told Adam, "every photo, every receipt, every timestamp. I want a folder so fat he can't talk his way out of it." Adam didn't ask why. He just replied with one word: "Done." I hung up and sat there in the dark. No rage, no tears, just silence. But inside, something clicked. This wasn't going to be a fight. It was going to be a funeral. I didn't move from that spot for a long time. Just sat there on the couch, elbows on my knees, phone in my hand, the room dead quiet. No TV, no music. Just the hum of the fridge down the hall and the creak of the AC kicking in every once in a while. Every shadow in that room looked like a reminder. The couch still smelled faintly like his cologne, a musky scent of old books and stale cigars. That stupid throw blanket he always wrapped around himself was bunched up next to me. I didn't touch it. Then my phone buzzed again. First one photo, then another, then a whole stream of them came through. Adam wasn't kidding about the proof. These weren't grainy screenshots or blurry close-ups from a corner camera. These were crystal clear, high-res shots, Jason in his suit, a drink in one hand, his other hand wrapped around Amber's waist, laughing like he hadn't lied to my face for months. Next shot, her head on his shoulder, both of them laying out like a couple on vacation. Then the one that punched straight through me, him kissing her outside the suite door. Same damn suite we stayed in on our anniversary trip. Same balcony view. Same black iron railing he leaned against when we toasted 2 years. I stared at the screen until the backlight timed out. I didn't blink, didn't move. My hands felt like bricks. My chest was hollow. It wasn't rage, not yet. It was the silence that hit me first. The kind of silence that gets inside your bones and stays there. Adam texted again. Want me to shut the card down? Cut the weekend short. I didn't even think about it. I typed back fast. No, let him spend. Let him think he's got it made. The sun hadn't even cleared the neighbor's fence when I grabbed my phone and called the bank. I was sitting at the kitchen counter, half a cup of reheated coffee in front of me. Last night's screenshots still open on my laptop. The customer service lady asked for a reason. I told her the card had been used without my permission. Technically true, she said. You'll need to file a fraud claim. I will, I said. Just freeze it for now. No more charges go through. Understood, she said. It's disabled as of now. I hung up, grabbed my coffee, and walked back into the living room. 5 minutes later, Adam's text buzzed in. He just tried to order poolside drinks. Got declined. He's confused as hell, playing it off like it's no big deal. Amber looks uncomfortable. I smiled without even meaning to. Tension drained from my shoulders just a little. That was the first crack. I didn't respond. I just waited. Let it cook. 2 hours went by. I didn't leave the couch. Just watched the clock tick and scrolled through photos I shouldn't have had to see. Then another text from Adam came through. He's at the front desk. Big scene, manager's involved. He's demanding to know why his card isn't working. Amber's not helping. She's standing 10 feet back like she doesn't even know him. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees, watching the 3 little dots dance while Adam typed again. He's saying it must be a glitch. He wants the suite charges comp for the inconvenience. I didn't reply. I just waited for what I knew was coming. Sure enough, 15 minutes later, my phone lit up with Jason's name. I let it ring halfway before picking up. Hey, babe, he said, trying to sound casual, but his voice was tight, too chipper, like he'd rehearsed it in the mirror. How's your morning? I kept my tone light, calm, polite. It's good. Just dealing with something weird. I'm in New York and my card's acting up. Tried to buy a smoothie and it got declined. Isn't that weird? I let that hang just long enough for him to feel it. That is weird. He pushed on. Yeah. I called the bank but couldn't get through. Thought maybe you saw something strange and froze it. I sipped my coffee. Nope. Just reported it stolen. He paused. I could hear it. The panic sneaking in behind his next words. Stolen. Yeah, I said real casual. Someone used it to check into a Vegas suite. Thought you were in New York, though. Silence then. What are you talking about? You checked into a Vegas club last night, I said. Same room we celebrated our anniversary in. Funny enough, Adam was there. His voice cracked. Adam. Yeah. He says hi. Said you looked comfortable. I heard a long breath on the other end like he was trying not to scream. I can explain. I smiled and stood up, walking to the window. I'm sure you can, just not to me. I cut him off. It's what I've got in 4K from 10 different angles. You're not sneaky, you're lazy. Another beat of silence. Then he dropped the act. You froze the funds. Yep, you and Amber might want to dig through your bags for loose change, or maybe she's got a savings account. Doubt it, though. She looks like she lives on creatine and cheap vodka. You're being cruel, he snapped. No, I said calmly. I'm being precise. Then I ended the call. The second the line went dead, I tossed the phone on the counter and just stood there. I didn't feel victorious. Not yet. But I felt clean, like I'd stepped outside of something rotten and finally caught fresh air. I spent the rest of the afternoon organizing the file folder, labeled every screenshot, matched them with timestamps, organized receipts in order. Adam kept sending updates like clockwork. Around 7:30 that evening, his final text came in. He's sitting outside by the valet loop alone. Then he sent a photo. Jason on a bench, arms crossed tight over his chest. No makeup, no smile. Hair pulled back in a sloppy bun. The hotel lights made him look pale, dead behind the eyes. His suitcase at his feet, half zipped. Amber was nowhere in sight. I stared at that photo for a long time. He looked like someone who just realized the plane wasn't delayed. It was gone, and the gate was locked behind him. I didn't reply, didn't ask what happened. I already knew he'd bet everything on a weekend lie and lost. By sunrise, my phone buzzed again. Adam sending me a live play-by-play. He's losing it, yelling at staff. Keeps demanding comped loyalty rates. Swears he's a diamond elite. I read it half asleep. Still lying on the couch, I hadn't gone to bed. Just dozed off here and there. Waking up every hour like my brain wouldn't let me rest until the job was done. I texted back. Amber's still around. Adam replied. Nope. Ghosted. Left before dawn. Took her gym bag. Didn't even say goodbye. I sat up and let that one sink in. Jason had traded a stable life for a woman who bailed on him before breakfast. Couldn't have scripted it better. I got up, poured myself another coffee. This time black, no cream, no sugar, and sat down at the kitchen counter. It was time for phase 2. First step, lock him out of everything. I opened up our joint bank app and deleted his access, changed every password, set up 2-factor authentication and routed it all through my number. Then I jumped over to the business account tied to our home remodeling side hustle, killed his login there, too, and froze all admin roles except mine. Then I opened the credit card portal, the one we both used, and clicked the freeze button. Card disabled, auto-pays blocked, travel rewards gone. I stared at his name under the authorized users tab for a second, then clicked remove. Next was the cell plan. I called the provider, gave them my ID, and had his line shut down, done in under 5 minutes. No warning, no backup SIM. Let him borrow someone else's phone if he needed to cry. Then I took a breath, sat back in my chair, cracked my knuckles, and made the call that sealed it all. My lawyer, Tom Cray, answered on the second ring. Morning, M. Everything all right? Ready to file separation, I said. Citing adultery, you'll have evidence. There was a pause. That's fast. Yeah, I said. He made it easy. Tom didn't ask for drama, just said, email me what you've got. I'll get the paperwork started. I sent the folder, every photo, receipt, card transaction, time-stamped hotel log. It looked more like a fraud case than a marriage imploding. By late morning, my hands weren't even shaking anymore. I wasn't numb. I was clear, focused, done pretending this was salvageable. Then I moved to the public front. Jason had always posted us like we were a Disney couple. Curated smiles, vacation shots, motivational captions about grinding together, rising together. It made me sick now, seeing him fake like that while planning his little getaways with Amber. I opened Facebook, scrolled back 3 months to a post of him and me on a wine tour in Temecula. He'd captioned it, 2 hearts, 1 hustle, built, not bought. I remembered standing next to him, feeling him fake that smile for the 10th take while I was thinking about deadlines and how we'd afford the new HVAC install. Under that post, I wrote one line, hope Amber enjoyed Vegas, receipts incoming. No hashtags, no anger, just facts. Within 5 minutes, I saw the notification. Jason responded to your comment. By the time I clicked it, his profile was gone, deleted, vanished. Adam texted a minute later. He's on his phone losing his mind. Think he just saw your post. He's pacing the lobby in a damn panic. I wrote back. You still got the post saved, he replied instantly. Every word screenshotted and backed up. Even got a screen record of his entire profile. You know I'm thorough. I laughed. First real laugh in days. Adam always did have my back. But now he was surgical. I logged out of Facebook and sat back again, staring at the wall, listening to the air vent hum above me. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't feel mercy. What I felt was controlled. He'd been reckless. I'd been patient. Now the trap was closed, and he knew it. I grabbed my keys and headed out for a drive. Not far. Just up to the ridge behind the neighborhood where you can see all the way down into the valley. The sun was beating down by then, mid-morning heat already thick. I parked, rolled the window down, let the breeze hit my face. Out there. I thought about what he was doing right then. Sitting in a luxury hotel lobby, no working cards, no phone line, and the woman he cheated with already long gone. I could almost picture him trying to sweet-talk the manager one more time. Voice cracking, his clothes rumpled, trying to remember which lie he told last, and no matter what he said, nothing worked, because behind every door, he tried. I'd already changed the locks. I drove straight home from the ridge, walked inside, and pulled up his company directory. Jason's work email was still saved in my autofill. He'd used our desktop a few times when he couldn't focus on his laptop. I clicked compose, attached everything: the hotel logs, the room service receipts, bar tabs, time-stamped photos, even the suite upgrade invoice with his name right there on it. The subject line, expense report discrepancies, urgent. I didn't write anything in the body. Just let the attachment speak. He worked as a university professor. Big title, bigger ego. He ran compliance workshops, gave hour-long Zoom speeches about ethics and leadership. He was supposed to be the example. Instead, he'd used his company card to cover the flight, then racked up charges on mine once they landed. I hit send. Less than an hour later, I got the bounce notification. Not an error, a forward alert. His inbox had been redirected to his direct supervisor. Perfect. Around 2:00 in the afternoon, Adam texted again. You see this yet? Then a screenshot. Amber wasn't just a coworker. She was his subordinate. Showed up in an old Instagram story of hers from some company retreat. She was listed under him on the org chart. 2. Adam found it through LinkedIn. Their job descriptions overlapped. A big no in their company's policy manual. And that wasn't all. Amber was also married. Adam figured that out fast. Said he recognized her husband from some Vegas gym social page his girlfriend followed. That led to a tagged wedding photo. Savannah Sloan, blonde, clean-cut, private profile. But mutual circles overlapped with Jason's from some Men in Business conference a year back. 3 hours later, Adam sent another text. Savannah just made a call. A friend of hers works in their HR department. She knows it's over. I sat back in my chair, stared at the ceiling, and waited. 48 hours. That's how long it took. First came the company-wide email Adam's girlfriend forwarded. Effective immediately. Jason Rhodes and Amber Sloan are no longer employed at Apex Group due to serious violations of corporate conduct policies. We do not tolerate abuse of company resources or power dynamics in the workplace. Second, Adam sent a screenshot from Savannah's story. Just a black screen with 3 words. Found out. Done. Adam texted me not long after. He's standing outside your door, just staring at the note. No bags, just his purse and some busted roller case. Looks like he cried the whole flight. I asked him to keep it moving. Tell him it's all over. He did. He got an Uber to the storage unit. I know because I got a ping from the security cam inside the facility. He keyed in the code. Our old alarm code. The one he used to laugh about being too easy to guess. He walked in, turned the lights on, and stopped in front of the stacked boxes. Every single thing labeled his clothes, his shoes, bathroom stuff, jewelry box. I'd even folded his wedding dress into a plastic tub. It was all there, and he had nowhere to put any of it. He stood in front of those boxes like someone staring into their own grave. But I wasn't watching the footage to pity him. I just wanted confirmation that he finally understood. He stood in that storage unit for close to an hour, according to the motion logs. Didn't touch a thing, just stared, maybe hoping some box would open itself and tell him it was all just a nightmare. But nothing did. The next morning, I called my cousin Evan. He manages a pawn shop outside of Tempe and brought in the ring. Platinum band custom cut. Paid too much for it back then because he deserved something timeless. He didn't ask questions, just checked the stone, slid over the cash, and gave me a receipt. On the way home, I pulled into a parking lot behind a strip mall and walked into a Veterans Outreach Center. I handed them the envelope with the full amount, told them to make the donation under his name. Didn't leave mine. I didn't do it to be noble. I did it because I wanted every trace of him to mean something to someone else. At least this way. That ring helped someone who didn't lie through their teeth while wearing it. Back home, I shut down everything else, changed my number, scrubbed his email from my contacts, took down our framed wedding photo, and tossed it in a box marked trash. Quietly, efficiently, like erasing mold from drywall. He started couch surfing pretty much immediately. Word traveled fast. Vegas drama has a way of leaking into every room. The friend group that used to swarm our barbecue nights split down the middle. Most of them took a step back. Not because I told them to, but because no one trusts a man who cheats sloppily and burns his own career in the same week. I heard from a couple of mutuals that he was crashing on Ashley Dwyer's pullout. Then over at some coworker studio in Flagstaff. A different place every few nights. People stopped offering real beds once the calls got desperate. He tried getting to me through back doors. First, it was my sister. He called her late one night, sobbing about how sorry he was, saying he didn't expect it to go this far. My sister didn't say much to him, just hung up and called me. We had dinner the next day. She slid her phone across the table so I could hear the voicemail. "I know I made a mistake." His voice cracked, full of fake fragility. "But please, can you just ask her to call me? I don't know what else to do." Then came the coworkers. Two of them texted me within the same week. Said Jason showed up at their offices pretending to be dropping something off, but really just fishing for sympathy. Both times he slipped in, asked how I was, then left without saying much else. One guy told him straight up, "You made your bed." When that didn't work, he showed up at my barber's shop, sat in the waiting area until he finally asked what he was doing there. He asked him to pass me a note. He didn't. He tossed it in the trash as soon as he left. I didn't hear from Jason after the diner. No more calls, no more voicemails, no surprise drop-ins. He just vanished. Or tried to. Word trickled back through people who couldn't help sharing. He'd moved 2 towns over. Got a job working the register at a chain pharmacy just off the interstate. No car, no vacations, no group selfies in hotel lobbies. Just a name tag, fluorescent lights, and a long walk to the bus stop if his shift ended after dark. I didn't feel good about it, but I didn't feel bad either. It was just fitting. Mutual friends, the ones who hadn't picked sides but still saw everything, said he told people, "I used to have it all." Like his past was some distant life someone else ruined. Not the one he torched himself for a weekend fantasy and a woman who couldn't even spot him a breakfast tab. Meanwhile, I rebuilt. Got myself a used Chevy Silverado with a little rust around the edges, but solid under the hood. I hauled scrap wood, cleared out the garage, and turned it into a workshop again. I started making things with my hands like I used to before everything got complicated. Chairs, frames, simple pieces. Stuff that felt honest. A buddy from work invited me to a weekly poker night. No big stakes, just beer, cards, and a room full of guys who didn't care about my drama. I showed up one Friday and never stopped going. It was quiet, regular, and nobody talked about who they used to be. Just cards and laughter and the kind of silence that isn't heavy. Every now and then someone would mention Jason. Usually a quick line. Saw him at the Walgreens, or think he's dating some girl who used to bartend at Charlie's. Nothing ever stuck. I guess trust doesn't come easy when your story's been passed around town more than the liquor bottle at closing time. 6 months after the diner, I was sitting at a poker table, a beer in one hand and a stack of chips in the other, when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't even look at it. I just tossed it on the table and picked up my cards. It was a new hand, a new game, and I was finally ready to play.